video is not of our new material. This is a review video. It's one of two videos that I'm making of review notes that we're doing in class before the test. Okay, so this is a review of functions, and we did this before. We're just now going to practice them and get better at. So the first thing they're asking for is g of -4. So what does that mean? That means that we're going to take -4 and put it into this g function. So everywhere I see an x, I'm going to write a -4. And remember, when we plug it in, we put it into parentheses. So -4 squared is positive 16. This is really -8 times -4, which would be positive 32. And then we add them together, we get 48. Okay, let's try the next thing. This says, because they left an x there, they're saying don't plug anything in, just add function f and add function g. So this right here is just like our rules, the directions. So we're just following directions. So we're going to add f, 2x minus 5, to g, which is x squared minus 8x. All we need to do is combine like terms. But when we write our final answer, we want to write it in standard form, so the highest degree first. So we're going to have x squared, and then -6x, and then minus 5. And that's our final answer. Okay, on the next one, it wants us to take -3 times function x. So -3 times function x. Okay, simplify that. So I get -6x plus 15. That's it. Okay, this last one for these functions is one of the composite types. So remember, this really means g of f of -3. And when we do these, we're going to work from the inside out. So first we're going to figure out the inside, which is f of -3. So I'm going to take -3 and plug it into my f function. Once I get that answer, I'm going to take that answer and plug it into g. But since I work from the inside out, it's f that I need to figure out first. So f of -3 would be 2 times -3 minus 5. So this is -6 minus 5, which would be -11. Now that I know that, I'm going to take that answer and plug it into g. And again, I knew I had to do f first because I work from the inside out. So g of -11 would be -11 squared minus 8 times 11. Well, -11 squared is 121 minus 88. And that gives you 33. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're working with different functions. Here are our functions this time. So the first thing, find f of -3. That means take -3 and plug it into the f function. So I'm going to have -3 cubed minus 2. -3 cubed means -3 times -3 times -3, which is -27. Minus 2 is -29. Okay, on the second one, they want us to take function f and subtract g. Well, it's very specific about the order. It's got to be f minus g. So this is going to be x cubed minus 2 minus the g function, which is -3x plus 4. When we subtract, we have to subtract the whole parentheses. So I'm going to change this to a plus, and then it changes the sign of everything in the parentheses, and now I want to combine like terms. So, and I'm going to write it in standard form, so I got to write the highest exponent first, would be x cubed, and then I have plus 3x, and then I can add my numbers and get -6, and there's my final answer. Okay. On the third one, now this gives us something to do. Because there's an x there, we're not plugging anything in. And this dot here, closed dot, means f times g. So I'm going to take function x times function g. So f is x cubed minus 2, and g is -3x plus 4. So when I multiply, I'm going to get -3x to the 4th plus 4x to the 3rd plus 6x minus 8. And look and see if there's any like terms. There's not, So this is my final answer. Okay, a last one with these functions. I need to find f of g of 1. So when I write this, this is going to be f of g of 1. I work from the inside out. So it's asking me to first figure out what g of 1 is in this function. Once I know that answer, whatever that answer is, I'm going to plug it into the second one. Let's see what happens. So first we're going to find g of 1. So that's going to be negative 3 times 1 plus 4. So that's negative 3 plus 4, which is just 1. Okay? It's not always the same. That's just a mere coincidence. Once I get that value, I'm going to plug that into f. So I have f of 1. So that's 1 cubed minus 2. Well, that's 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. And that's my final answer. Okay. Last group of functions to work with. On the first one, it wants us to find g of 12. So we're going to plug 12 into this g function over here. So on that, I'm going to have 12 minus 3. So it's the square root of 9, which is just 3. On the second one, this wants negative 5 times f of 2. So always work from the inside out. So I need to find f of 2 first, and whatever that answer is, I'm going to multiply it by negative 5. So I'm going to find f of 2. So that's the absolute value of negative 5 times 2 plus 4. So that's the absolute value of negative 10 plus 4. The absolute value of negative 6, which is just 6. Now that I know this, it says once you know f of 2, multiply that times negative 5. So I'm going to have negative 5 times 6, which gives me negative 30. Okay, we've got a composite function this time. F of g of 19. Okay, so this is f of g of 19. So we're going to work from the inside out. So I'm going to find g of 19 first, and whatever that answer is, I'm going to plug it into x. So g of 19 would be the square root of 19 minus 3. So that's the square root of 16, which is 4. Once I get that answer, then I'm going to plug that answer into the f function. I knew I had to do g first because it was on the inside, and I'm going to work from the inside out. So f of 4 would be the absolute value of negative 5 times 4 plus 4. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Negative 20 plus 4 is the absolute value of negative 16, which is positive 16. And there's my answer. Okay, another composite function. This time I've got g of f of 0. So I'm going to work from the inside out. So I'm going to find f of 0 first. Whatever that answer is, I'm going to plug it into g. So f of 0 would be the absolute value of negative 5 times 0 plus 4. Well, negative 5 times 0 is just 0. So 0 plus 4 is the absolute value of 4. And the absolute value of any number is always positive. Now that I know that, now I can find g of 4. Okay, and g of 4 is the absolute value of 4 minus 1. Just kidding. Just doing the subtraction ahead of myself. Not the absolute value. The square root of 4 minus 3, which is 1. So we got the square root of 1, which is just 1. And that's my final answer.